Good morning and welcome to Research Day 2009. I hope you have had a chance to pick up the program for today. It clearly states what the theme is, and that is our quest for excellence, expressing our interests, sharing our achievements, changing our world. And it's very impressive to look through and see all the variety of topics that will be presented today, the range of students who will be presenting, and it's very exciting to me to see the ways in which Research Day has grown. I want to certainly welcome our visitors who are judging today. I want to thank the committee for planning. I want to especially acknowledge Dr. Sheila McClure for the work that she does every year to make this such a success. But I know that she doesn't work alone. She's got a wonderful committee, and I look out and see the faces of many faculty members and staff who have been involved in planning Research Day, but not only in planning, but supporting students as they prepare to share their expertise. We have a wonderful speaker this morning, and I know she's well acquainted with many of you. I will leave the introduction to Dr. McNair, but simply to say we want to welcome back Dr. Sheila McClure. We're very glad to have you here with us today. This Research Day is getting bigger and better every year, as I said, and one of the reasons we're able to expand and continue its growth is because of the sponsorship we have received from a number of corporate entities. But there's none more faithful to the Research Day effort than Pfizer. And this year, Pfizer made a $25,000 commitment to Research Day. So we are very pleased and appreciative.
It is indeed a great pleasure for me to welcome back to Spelman Dr. Sheila McClure, who is currently the director of the National Research Centers and Minority Institutions program at the National Institutes of Health. Dr. McClure noted to me today that she indeed was here and participated in planning the first MIE Science Day at Spelman College. So it was quite fitting, we think, to welcome her back today for the 20th anniversary. Please join me in welcoming back Dr. Sheila McClure, who will speak today on the quest for excellence.
This is an extreme honor. I also want to acknowledge Dr. Butler in her absence, and Dr. Burnett, and all of the other leadership here at Spelman College. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge all of my colleagues, because you're still my colleagues here at Spelman, in the biology department, in the natural sciences, and indeed across the institution. And it's wonderful that this has transformed into Research Day across the campus, because there is certainly wonderful scholarship in all of the disciplines, the fine arts, the humanities, the social sciences, you name it, Spelman is a wonderful place to be. And I have two goals in this presentation. The first is to increase your knowledge of the National Institutes of Health, or NIH. I often tell people that NIH is a very well-kept secret. And sometimes when people think of NIH, they think of, well, I'm not in biology, I'm not in science, I'm not in the medical profession, so it really doesn't have anything to offer me. And I hope that by the end of this talk, you will change your mind. In addition, I want to encourage those students that are in the audience, particularly the Spelman students, but even the high school students that I had the pleasure of meeting this morning, that you must continue your quest for excellence, and research is certainly a way to do that. So in terms of the National Institute of Health, it is the nation's medical research agency. It is within the Department of Health and Human Services, and currently our director is Dr. Raynard Kington. He's an acting director, and I usually don't mention the director of NIH, but I'm going to mention him this time because how many of you realize that our acting director is an African-American male? Okay, he is. The director of NIH is a presidential appointee, and Dr. Kington is acting because President Obama, and I love saying that, President Obama is going to name a director for the National Institutes of Health sometime within the next year or so. NIH has a budget of $27.8 billion. In addition to our budget, many of you may realize if you've been reading the news, you've been hearing about the stimulus package. Well, NIH is a recipient of some of the money that's gone into that stimulus package. And as a federal official, I can't say the word stimulus because it's the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, or ARRA funding. So when you talk to people, say ARRA funding, they'll be really impressed that you're on top of things. But we're getting an additional $10.4 billion as a result of ARRA funding. And I am pleased to say that about $1.3 billion of those dollars are coming to my center. Okay, so we're going to be able to do some really wonderful things to expand upon the activities that we're already conducting. The NIH is composed of 27 institutes and centers. Most of the institutes and centers are focused on particular diseases. For example, the National Eye Institute, NEI, focuses, as you might imagine, on diseases that impact the eye and the visual systems. The National Cancer Institute, or NCI, and in government there are a lot of acronyms. If you don't like acronyms, the government is not the place for you to be, okay? But the NCI, the National Cancer Institute, focuses on cancer. NHLBI, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, focuses, obviously, on the heart, the lung, the blood. And we can go down the list. There are some 27 institutes and centers. I have the fortune to work in a center that's called the National Center for Research Resources, or NCRR. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what NCRR does, because again, I think we are a very well-kept secret in that we provide researchers with the environments and tools that they need to do their research. And it doesn't matter what disease area, we provide those tools. As an example, we do this through 4 divisions, and those divisions are listed there. The Division of Clinical Research, where we're enabling the ability to conduct clinical research, research that's going to have a direct impact on health, research that affects patients or involves patients, epidemiological research, population studies, health services research, social science research, behavioral research, okay, across the gamut. We also have a division of comparative medicine where we provide animal models because, for example, if we're going to develop new drugs, if we're going to test drugs, we can't obviously do it on humans, but we have to do it on animals first. So we provide some of the animal resources that are necessary for some of that type of testing and research. The Division of Biomedical Technology. As the name implies, we are very interested in developing new technology and expanding existing technology, which brings together scientists and engineers in that quest. If you've ever had an MRI, or if you've ever had an X-ray, or if you've ever had a PET scan or a CAT scan, you have been a direct beneficiary of some of that technology that's come from our center. And last but certainly not least is the Division of Research Infrastructure, my division. So I'm going to spend some time talking about that. I would be remiss if I did not mention my director, Dr. Sidney A. McNary. Some of you may be familiar with Dr. McNary because if you've been involved in some of the research training programs like the MBRS program or RISE program or MARC program, he was very instrumental in establishing some of those programs. Within our division, we provide infrastructure to conduct research. That infrastructure could be a facility. We have a major construction programs. We have major research renovation programs. In addition, we develop research capacity to enhance competitiveness in minority institutions, as well as in developing institutions across the country. So it is important that you find that area that interests you and you figure out how you can make that area come to life. And if your interest has anything to do with disparities, any diseases that disproportionately impact minority populations, it can be some of the diseases that we mentioned. it can be violence, it can be anything that disproportionately impacts our populations. Your ideas are welcome. So we've got to change the world. We're going to change the world. And as you have demonstrated through your excellence today, it is important to have exceptional mentors. And students, I can tell you, you will find no better mentors than the ones that are here at Spelman College. Okay? There is excellence across this campus. Take advantage of that excellence. In addition, changing the world means that you have to be a mentor. Because if you have a poster today, if you're doing a presentation today, and your roommate is not, or your classmates aren't, is your responsibility to say, look, you got to get involved, you got to be engaged. So you have a role as well. It takes collaboration and teamwork, okay? Because no one person knows everything. If they think they do, then they're fooling themselves. And if they say they are, then they're a liar, okay? We must collaborate. We must work in teams, okay? You must be an effective communicator. You must write well, you must speak well, you must be able to communicate your thoughts clearly. You must be a critical thinker. And last but certainly not least, you must be fearless. You must be fearless in your pursuits. You must be fearless in your interests. And I am not ashamed to say that the source of my fearlessness and tenaciousness is my faith. Okay? Because I believe that I can do all things, not just some things, but all things. And I want you to believe that too, because you are going to change this world. And in changing this world, you will set your own agenda, you will design your own materials, you will deliver your own messages. You will not, you cannot, you must not leave the education of our people up to someone else, but it's your responsibility. So I want you to leave here today because you are the change that I believe in. I thank you so very, very much for this opportunity to talk to you this morning, and I look forward to your presentation.